I have a rant for y'all today about INFJ. It is time to stop being a people pleaser. Now, I understand that as an INFJ, you may have some trauma, maybe from your childhood. You may have some stuff you're dealing with, like anxiety and depression, and that makes it really difficult for you to not be a people pleaser, right? Because of a physiological issue you might be having with the fight or flight response. I totally understand that. All right, I'm not judging you if you do people please in spite of your best efforts not to, because I realize that those can be contributing factors. But here's the thing about it, INFJ. I want to share a quote with you from probably my favorite author of all time. It's a men's therapist and Christian counselor and coach and writer, New York Times bestselling writer, a man by the name of John Eldredge, who wrote a book called Wild at Heart. I highly recommend you check that book out, especially for men. But the women's version of that book is Captivating, which was also written by John Eldredge and his wife Stacy. Check those books out if you haven't yet. John Eldredge, in his book, Wild at Heart, said, let people feel the weight of who you are and let them deal with it. INFJ, you are an unbelievably powerful force when you allow your strength and your power, your intuition, as well as the goodness of your heart with your extroverted feeling, to show up. When you stop people pleasing and you check in with yourself, how do you do it? Well, INFJs are not very present minded. We tend to be future focused and we're always quote unquote in our heads. And it's difficult for INFJs to ground themselves in the present moment. And consequently, INFJs, feel like they're having an out-of-body experience all the time. Like, we have pains and aches in our body that a lot of times we don't even notice or feel. We're out of our body because we're in our head. And then when we are around other people and we're trying to accommodate them and people please with our extroverted feeling, we can completely tune out of our own bodies to where we don't even realize, that we're feeling uncomfortable. We'll be in a conversation with someone for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we'll completely forget that our arm or our leg fell asleep, depending on the position that we were sitting in or whatever. I mean, INFJs do stuff like that all the time. And it's because of this natural tendency that we have to people please. But what's so interesting is that whereas the vast majority of people please because they have a hidden agenda, INFJs try to people please because they are legitimately trying to increase the comfort level of the other person, trying to increase the interpersonal harmony in the relationship. The INFJ is actually trying to create a harmonious atmosphere where they get along with the people that they're engaging with. It's authentic, it's genuine. But INFJs, a lot of times, they experience, issues of being taken advantage of, being taken for granted in relationships because of this people pleasing, this lack of boundaries. And I have to just be honest with you, INFJ, okay? It's your choice to do that. You have a choice to be that way. And you can take your power back. You can let people feel the weight of who you are and let them deal with it. And as I mentioned in a previous video recently, there is a massive awakening taking place right now amongst INFJs all over the world, people who have taken the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator personality test and have discovered their unique strengths, that they are indeed a rare personality known as an INFJ. And there is an awakening taking place where INFJs are realizing that they're being called upon at this time in human history to make a major contribution to the world. And INFJ, the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you show up in your personal power, authentically, not as a chameleon version of yourself that you think other people want to see or hear. By showing up as a masked version of who you really are, rather than being who you actually are, what you're doing is you're giving people less than your best. You know, I often get asked why I grew out this massive, gigantic, now 18-inch long beard. Okay, it's 18 inches long. This beard that I grew out is one of the most polarizing things I have ever done, because there are people, there are a lot of people who love it, but there are also many people who hate it, are disgusted by it. Oh, what does he have? Does he have a chicken wing in there? Does he have a chunk of maybe some peanut butter M&Ms are sitting there stuck in his beard, or God knows what, right? I don't care. Every single day I wake up and I go out into the world and I get compliments on this beard every single day. And I'll get a compliment on this beard, and then 30 seconds later, somebody will walk by and they will look at me with contempt and hate and disgust, and they'll look down at my beard and then look back at me like, ew, that is so gross. Do you know what it's like to go out into the world every day and experience that level of polarization? If I really cared that much, don't you think I'd have shaved the beard off by now? This is who I am. And I don't care what anyone thinks. And that's the place that you want to try to arrive at, INFJ. Not to be dismissive of other people. You're always going to be empathic. You're always going to absorb the emotions of other people in spite of your best boundaries that you set, because you're that sensitive as an INFJ. But with proper boundaries and with taking back your power, you can become emboldened. You can show up in the world as your true authentic self and not be fazed by what other people think. I promise you guys, if I can be that, if I can become that, you can. And I'm still working on it. I'm not saying that I'm some saint. It's a process. But it is possible as an INFJ to vanquish the people-pleasing tendency that you have and to show up in the world as your true self, to let people feel the weight of who you are and then let them deal with it. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button and subscribe. I am pulling into Bass Pro Shop's outdoor world right now, so I absolutely need to let you guys go. I'm going to be checking out some new stuff in there today, but I want to hear your perspective. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Dueling Personalities. We're at like 4,976 subscribers. Less than 25 away from 5K. Return subscribers, thank you for your subscription. For those of you that have been with the channel for, some period of time, thank you for bearing with me through my existential crisis where I wasn't posting. I'm gonna keep doing MBTI content, but I'm also gonna branch out and do some different things and see what happens. I want to talk about all the weight that I lost. I lost nearly 200 pounds. I still have probably, 40 pounds to go or so. But you guys, a lot of you don't know this. I went back to school during the pandemic. I'm a certified weight loss coach. I'm a certified life coach. And I feel like I can offer coaching services on this channel and help people. I also have trauma. I have just stuff that I dealt with. I was a drunk for nearly 12 years of my life. And I gave all that up. I gave drinking up 8 years ago this December. Jim Rohn said, never underestimate the value of your own story, the power and the value that your story has. I think I should talk about my addiction problems, the things that I've had, the struggles that I've had with addiction over the years, and how I've overcome that so far by the grace and only by the grace of God. But I think that could help people on this channel just as much as talking about INFJ. Don't you guys agree? So I want to branch out after I hit 5K and do some new stuff, some new content. What kind of content would y'all like me to make? Leave it in the comments. Go ahead and donate to my super thanks. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Leave your thoughts, your perspective. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you in the next video. Take care.